My name is Sasha, and I am 46 years old, and I'm basically starting all over again. Let me tell you why. My wife and I, we have run a successful e-commerce company for over 10 years. And yeah, actually on her part, it was more like 20 years because I joined her later. And last year we made a very drastic decision, really. We decided to sell our company and to just start all over again. You can imagine this was a shock for a lot of people around us. It was a shock to family, and especially it was a shock to our team and our employees that were working together with us for years. And most of the people we have talked to did not really understand our decision at first, because from the outside, everything looked kind of nice and perfect. I mean, we had a e-commerce company that was pretty much at the top of our niche. The business was very profitable. We didn't have any loans, and we pretty much owned all of our stuff, all the machinery and everything ourselves. So there was no bank involved, no credits, nothing. And just Kathleen's and my working hours were also very comfortable, really, because, yeah, our work was kind of optional in our company. So, what happened? This is a little bit difficult to explain, but I will try it anyways. When you do something for 10 plus years, it's very easy to end up in a rut, really. And on top of that comes when you reach a certain scale, you get more and more influence from the outside, really, you cannot control for yourself. And when I say scale here, this is very subjective because I know there are a lot of numbers floating out there about revenues and figures and so on. And for us, we made it up to seven figures. We had 10 employees. And actually, for me and my wife, this was a big deal because we have built all of it out of nothing. Back to the influences. When a company grows, also the influences from the outside grow with it. Especially here in Europe, the last years we got more and more regulations, and these kind of things, they demand your attention, and you need to take care of them because you have to comply with all the rules and regulations, and that's okay so far. But for us, I don't know, we wanted to focus on the things we do well and on the things we love to do, really. So, long story short, my wife and I, we did kind of a live audit last year, and we found out that we liked our lives, and yeah, we loved to work with our team, but actually the company itself, that felt like a burden to us, and we didn't really enjoy working at our own company anymore. So at first we thought about just hiring somebody who will take care of all the paperwork and all the stuff we really didn't want to do ourselves. We gave a lot of responsibilities to our employees over the years, and that worked out pretty well. But we couldn't really imagine to employ somebody who will manage the parts of the company we didn't enjoy. That felt like cheating to us or something like that. And the other thing was, we couldn't really see somebody taking over the responsibilities we didn't like and actually hated in the end fast enough. And probably we have waited too long to think about all this stuff and to make a decision, but that's how it was, really. And that's when we decided to sell it all. So the selling part was, yeah, it was actually more complicated than we thought. And of course, when you are in your own business, things are, yeah, kind of day to day grind, and you're just used to work with all your processes and so on. But it turned out that a business like ours was more complicated to sell than we thought initially. Because this was not a standard e-commerce company. We didn't do drop shipping or anything. with whole made in Germany package, basically. So we invented our own products, we designed them, we had a full production line in our company and all the machinery and so on. So the e-commerce part, which is kind of easy to sell, was the smallest piece of the pie, really. And that, of course, made it more complicated to get everything sold. Over the last year, we had a lot of conversations with different buyers that were interested in buying our company. And we had some companies that were really interesting as a buyer. And the problem was really that most of them wanted us to stay for another 2 to 5 years in order to keep the company running and to have a smooth transition, really. And the problem was really that was no option for us because when Kathleen and I do something, we do it wholeheartedly or we just don't do it. So, long story short, in April of this year, so that was basically, I don't know, about 14 months after we had made the decision to sell, we found the perfect buyer. And now, as of August 2024, we are kind of living a completely new life. And that still feels kind of unbelievable because when you have done something for so long, you need some time to really believe that things have changed. So, what now? I'm a tech geek with all my heart, and I have always been like this. I love to figure out how to make things work faster, smarter, and hopefully without any human intervention. For me, technology and everything that involves technology and especially computers falls naturally into place. I am a deeply curious person and I think I would even tinker with technology and computers and programming language and so on, even if I didn't earn a single cent with it. So, in the last 10 years, I have, of course, put a lot of know how into building our e commerce business. And of course, I have learned really a lot on the way. Overall, technology and automation played a very crucial role in our company because this allowed us to move fast, to stay lean, and to be very effective and profitable for such a small company. And I just, for myself, I believe that technology paired with know how and curiosity make you basically unstoppable in a lot of areas. And when we have a look at the last year and this year, we are entering into the era of AI. And I deeply believe that all of us, no matter how far we are on our technical journey, we need to adapt and we need to learn a lot and we need to experiment a lot. So, what I will try to do on this channel is to share all my knowledge with you. So, if you are an e-commerce entrepreneur, you are struggling with automation, you are having manual processes and so on, you will probably be able to learn a lot on this channel on how to make things better and how to streamline processes and invent powerful automations. So for now, I don't have a detailed content plan for the next year, but I have some topics and some key areas I want to tackle on this channel. So, first of all, I'm not really against big tech, but I think big tech appears always more powerful than it should be, really. And there are a lot of technologies that you can use even as a small company that are most of the time even better than the things big tech is offering us. So, that's one area where I will show you how you can self host various services and I will show you alternatives that are oftentimes much better as solutions you might be offered from big tech companies and of course are most of the time cheaper and more effective. Another big part is data ownership. I know a lot of people are afraid of the responsibilities when it comes to backups and so on. I'm not a big fan to hand over all of our customer data to big tech and other companies. And just from my side, I have moved to storing our own data and to run our services, I don't know, years ago. And this also made a lot of things easier because I was kind of fed up to read one privacy policy after another. Because when you have partners you share data with, you always have to take care that the data you are submitting to other companies is according to privacy laws. When you store the data by yourself and when you don't share them, you basically eliminate a lot of problems on the way. Another big topic, of course, will be AI. We have been using tools like ChatGPT and other ones very much from the start when they came out, and we had our fair share of experiences. And there's also a lot to learn, and I'm very, very curious to learn all of it and to use this new and exciting technology for automations and to streamline processes and so on. So that will be definitely a big part. Another thing is I will show you how you can create really effective automations for your processes. Because we started in our company very early with automating processes. For example, we had a fully automated workflow that was creating thousands of images for all of our products for all different sales platforms without any human intervention, really. And that was like 10 years ago. And it has always been like that because I believe when you do something 3 or 4 times, then it's time to think about how you can automate the process really. I know a lot of companies and a lot of people always talk about marketing and marketing budgets and so on. But I personally believe there is a lot of money in streamlined processes and in automation because you can very easily save hundreds of hours for an employee over the year if you know how to create good automations for processes. So that's basically a little rundown of where I come from and what I want to do on this channel. Basically, my mission for this channel is to help you turn e-commerce chaos into automated simplicity so you can focus on what really matters and what really brings you and your company forward. I've been there. I have had my fair share of experiences and problems, and I have learned a lot along the way. And today, in my mid 40s, I understand the desire for business success and also for freedom and autonomy, really. So, if you're willing to learn about technical topics, about automation, and how to use AI to make things better in your company, feel free to subscribe to this channel. And of course, if you are interested in certain topics or you want to go deeper on a topic I have made in a video, just let me know down in the comments and I will try to work something out. So, just a personal note here. To me, this is all completely new. So, right now, I'm just a guy in his mid 40s and yeah, as I said, I'm completely starting at square one. And of course, selling the company is kind of a good starting point just financially, but there is a lot to find out and to figure out along the way. And I will try to share as much of my own journey here so people who are interested in this can, yeah, just watch a middle aged guy to create a new life here. So if you want me to handle certain topics, just drop a comment or send me an email or a DM or anything. Thanks for watching and see you again on this channel. Bye.